So this topic comes as a viewer suggestion, and we knew we were going to get this suggestion. We knew it. We knew it was coming. Wonder Woman's effect on the direction of the DC expanded universe. So Wonder Woman is probably the first universally well-received DC movie since the Nolan Dark Knight trilogy. And I did enjoy it. I thought it was very good. It wasn't the greatest superhero movie. That's always going to be the Nolan trilogy at this point. But Wonder Woman was certainly very interesting. It had a good mix of everything. But the tone is definitely changing. So Batman v Superman, well, technically Man of Steel was the first film in the DC extended universe. Very dark, very bleak. Entire cities are being leveled.
Yeah, it kind of made you just want to lock yourself in a room and listen to The Cure.
Batman v Superman, even darker than Man of Steel. The world is a very dark place. The only heroes of the world are fighting and killing each other. And then Suicide Squad comes out, and when it's first revealed to us, it looks like it might be a bit dark, but there's a lot of humor that's being forced into it. It's not like dark humor, though. It's like humor that's in a dark room. It's not like... It's not like it's...
Dark blue. Have you ever been alone in a crowded room?
So, Suicide Room... What? Suicide...
that would be an Oscar-nominated movie.
So Suicide Squad really, the color in the movie was dark and gritty, but it had a lot of joking. You have Will Smith in a movie, it's going to happen. But even the scenes...
We all remember Hitch.
Even the scenes with the Joker just didn't feel quite as serious as the Heath Ledger scenes did in the Nolan world. Because the Nolan world was so hyper-realism. And Suicide Squad, it's difficult to do that when you have a mythical witch who came out of a vase. So it's...
It's like Aladdin all over again, except she's a little mean.
Yeah. Well, so Wonder Woman looks very different right on the surface. The colors are brighter. She starts off in her mythological home, and then she goes right into World War I. So I think that DC, and judging by the Justice League trailers, it looks like Justice League is going to be significantly lighter than Batman v Superman and Suicide Squad. Half of the trailers have been jokes. I heard you talk to fish. And then you got Aquaman surfing pretty much into a battle scene. And then he does the hair thing. He comes off the wave and just goes...
I really just want to see an epic battle on the beach. And then you just see Aquaman at the edge of the water just I can't come on land.
So I think, are you in agreement that DC's direction does appear to be lightening?
They tried their own direction, and now they're like, fuck it, let's just do it. Marvel
do you think that? Do you think that's really what's going on? Because I feel like that could be true, but I don't want it to be true.
This nice big stack of money, but then they're looking over at Marvel, and Marvel's just backing up the fucking Brinks truck. And they're like, I want to be like that guy.
But the thing is I really liked the dark, gritty, despair, the world is getting fucked up feel of DC.
Because we're adults.
But the thing is I really liked having the option. I liked knowing that when I went into a Marvel movie, it's going to be fun. Spider-Man Homecoming, that was a fun movie. It was fun. I liked watching Peter Parker swing around and fight the Falcon. It was interesting. It was entertaining. But when I go into a DC movie, I want to see harsh shit going down.
Well, that's the thing, is The Dark Knight opened up a door that our childhoods never imagined. A sense of reality meeting fiction and fantasy in such a gritty, aggressive, painstakingly angstful world.
Yeah, well, another thing it did too is it brought up very real philosophical questions. You know, order versus chaos. What do I have to become to stop men like these? Those are big questions. We don't really touch that. You know, we have some mass surveillance in Marvel, and that's it.
Oh,
that's really the deepest we get.
I really don't want to get to a point where Batman's just like, ha, you're a criminal. I catch you. Throw my stars. Tra-la-la.
And no one seems to take any damage half the time. But the thing is Batman versus Superman, despite not quite having what the Nolan trilogy had, the stakes still felt high. You know, people were getting offed. Superman dies. You know, like it's just heavy, and you don't feel great when you watch it because you feel like you're going through this terrible battle and you're watching people get manipulated, and it's heavy, and there's all these things going on. And even Wonder Woman did maintain a little bit of philosophy in it because it takes place in World War I. Wonder Woman comes from a place that's essentially paradise, and she goes into this world and she has this innate belief that man can be good, but she slowly starts to believe that, you know, man needs to make his own choice. Man chooses his path, and it's a very interesting character journey for her. So it doesn't deal with these elements of society to the extent that the Nolan trilogy does, but it's still holding on to a little bit. And I'm worried about losing that in Justice League because we lost that in Suicide Squad.
My only problem is you're holding on to the concept of free will.
Yeah.
That's really what its pivot point is. And that's just such an overdone perspective that even though they made that effort, it feels like a we'll just mail it in kind of concept.
Well, yeah, and I will agree that in any origin story, it's difficult to stay very philosophical because you have to put so much effort into building a character. And people don't necessarily know Wonder Woman in this generation because it's been a while since we've seen her depicted.
And that's the benefit of having this dark universe, because having that darker, more strife-filled universe, it allows a lot of times for the philosophical approach to create itself rather than you actually having to inlay it in.
Yeah.
Because that character's development is going to dictate the story and the philosophical view without you having to be like, well, let's bring Plato into this and really crack down on that shell. Like, no.
Well,
okay,
so
it just comes more natural that way.
So to summarize, I think DC began in the absolute best place, but it lost the people behind it, and you can only really accomplish it with Batman because everyone else has to have magic to really pull off, and as soon as you do that, you lose the ability for that universe. So what I ideally would like Justice League to be is I would like Justice League to go back, and I know this is going to be unpopular. I want Justice League to be very dark. I want it to be gritty because if all these heroes need to come together to stop something, it needs to be a horrific evil. It needs to be something that they can barely handle. And I honestly would like to see the stakes high because in Marvel, when you watch the Avengers, no one is ever in danger. And the only heroes that die are people no one cares about, like Quicksilver. So I think Justice League would get a lot of power if people actually died. Like if the Flash dies or Aquaman dies fighting this horrible evil. That would make the movie so intriguing to see people fall, to see it actually have risk.
I'm not gonna lie, every time I think of the Flash, I just picture Sheldon going, Bazinga.
But no, do you agree with me? Like,
no, I definitely agree.
You gotta stake that shit.
I definitely agree. I mean, especially where you said that like there needs to be some kind of struggle that unifies these people because they're all in their own way super fucking human. They live in a universe with a concept that they don't need anybody but themselves. Something is gonna have to pull them together. They're not just gonna walk up and hey, Batman, want to be my Wonder Buddy? Woo!
It needs to be devastating, though, and it needs to bring them to the point that Bruce Wayne was at in The Dark Knight. What do I have to become to stop this? I want to see internal struggles like that. That's what makes movies great.
Kill Spider-Man. You kill the young kid, everyone else gets old and salty and...
Yeah, but, and the last thing I have to say about DC's direction is please do not give them a ton of faceless minions that they can just fight for 20 minutes, because Suicide Squad and the Avengers have all done that. I don't care. We all know they can fight. We don't need to watch them kill something that means nothing.
Watch them just rip off Captain America and they're like, well, now in the second movie, we went World War I, now we got the Nazis.
Yeah. All right, so what do you guys think about Justice League? Are you guys as worried as we are? Do you want it to be gritty? Do you want to see Nolan's influence in it? Or do you want to see Marvel and do you want to have fun?
Or is it just turning into so much of a fucking train wreck that, like me, you're just like, let's just move on.
Suicide Room. We'll do that. That'll be our first short film.
How crazy would that have been if that was the movie The Room? Like at the end, it was just like, and we're stuck.